Is there going to be a shock player being dropped from the game today? Now, I've seen some interesting stuff kicking about over the internet over the past couple of days, and I can understand to a small specific point why some people are calling for the Magnifico, Brazilian Magnifico, Lucas Paqueta, to be rested or dropped for the game at Fulham, but not for me. Not for me. Paqueta had not one of his best games in a West Ham shirt against Tottenham Hotspur. He was only successful with one of his 5 dribble attempts that he made, and he lost possession quite a lot, 21 times to be exact, in the game, which could have been detrimental on the night, but also if you keep continuing to do that, then it can be detrimental to West Ham all over. Now, West Ham probably shouldn't be in a situation where you've got a player like Paqueta, and just because he is a gifted outlet, that he should be guaranteed a space in the West Ham squad. However, we are talking about the Brazilian Magnifico. You know, he is phenomenal footballer. But I myself have grown a little bit frustrated with him over the past couple of weeks because he has given the ball away. But it's not about him giving the ball away, because I can excuse him doing that, especially if he's in the final third. It can be frustrating, but then you at least know you're not in direct danger or quick danger of conceding a goal. But as of late, he has been giving the ball away quite annoyingly in dangerous areas. So the opposition then can break quickly and find themselves in our 18-yard box. Now, we all know he's very good and high up the ranks with tackling. We all know he's got that creative fire in his belly, but something just didn't click, in particular in the first half against Spurs, in particular with him, because when you were looking for something, when you couldn't get a hold of possession, you were looking for someone like Brazilian Magnifico, Lucas Paqueta, to get a hold of that ball, to really start that attack, get that engine rocking and rolling, get stuck in on the tackles and keep hold of possession. But he just couldn't do it. But then again, equally, neither could many other players. But as of I have said previously, in recent weeks, I've seen Paqueta giving the ball away. Now, what does that mean for the game against Spurs? Do I think he's going to be dropped? No. Do I think he could be in danger of being dropped? Well, I don't think any player really, within reason, should be guaranteed a spot. I know it's easy for me to say, but in actual fact, when you look at the squad and you think about some quality players, then so be it. You know, if you had Mbappe playing in your team, would he be undroppable? But the point I'm trying to make here is that I don't think Paqueta will be dropped, as some people have suggested throughout the internet world. But what you do want is players, looking, or Paqueta looking over his shoulder. It wouldn't do him any harm. It wouldn't do any of the squad any harm, because you want players like Ben Rama, for example, to be chomping at the foot to try and get on the field, to play game time, to start for West Ham, to feature as much as you possibly can. Pablo Fornal is exactly the same. Every player, it's healthy to have healthy competition in the squad. Now, it's vital for me that we keep Paqueta in the team. Of course, he's going to stay in the team. I don't doubt that for 1 second. But what I do want to see is that Magnifico, Brazilian Magnifico, back to his best, back to his, against Spurs, he played one good quarter, is the only way I could describe it. The best 15, 20 minutes came from him at the end of the Spurs game. But I want to see that solid consistency throughout. Now, that could be a detriment because he is playing out of position. Essentially, when I say out of position, he has played there several amount of times throughout his whole career, but I wouldn't say that's his best position out on the left. And that could be one of the reasons why he is doing that, closing down tight spaces. We all know he likes to be in tight spaces to come out of those situations, but just don't try those silly little tricks or silly little things when you're so far deep in your own half. And just have that fire in your belly to keep driving forward for this team and constantly creating and innovating, because that's what you are there to do. Of course, you go back and win the ball back as well, but don't do anything silly in the middle of the park. I think we will be confident. I think there's no doubts about the fact that the team will be confident going into this game. But what we can't do is go too confident. We have to have our heads screwed on. And let's remember that they fired 5 goals past Nottingham Forest last week as well. So they'll be up for this. London Derby at Craven Cottage, 2 o'clock kickoff this afternoon. It's going to be an exciting one. It's going to be a good opportunity for West Ham to try and push on again up the league. It'd be nice if you had a fantastic, flamboyant performance. If you could get anywhere near the second half against Spurs and have that for the full game against Fulham, then you would appease so many people, wouldn't you? But again, at the end of the day, it's a results business. And all I do genuinely care about right now is West Ham winning games. And that is the pure and utter honesty. But when you look at a player like Paqueta, you think to yourself, he has got that flamboyancy, that excitability, and that is what you want on the park. But just keep that to the final third. Keep that to the final third, and then things will click with Bowen. Kudos. Very, very exciting, forward-thinking West Ham lineup. What do you think? Is Moyes ballsy enough to potentially rest Paqueta, or will he stick with his main man? And I think he is going to stick with Paqueta for the Fulham game. Leave your comments in below. Join us later on for the predicted 11 show. And then, of course, after that will be the match day live. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button. Why not? Because we're good to you. We all like to look after all of our fans on here. You join us on the membership program as well. You'll get entered into monthly draws. Right now, we're doing the Advent calendar. You'll be entered into a draw every day. If you go and look at the Advent show and you leave a comment on the channel at the same time. But also, a big shout out to our channel sponsors. They are Beer 52. Another one coming your way soon, out with Beer 52. Check it out and come on, your hands.
Fancy some free beer this Christmas? Does Edson Alvarez love a booking? Does Michael Antonio love a podcast? The answer to all those questions is yes, of course. And it's Beer 52's award season, where they celebrate the very best in independent craft breweries across the world with 8 new and exclusive beers you're not going to find anywhere else. All you need to do is go to beer52.com/West Ham and cover the postage of $5.95, and they'll send you out a free case of 8 exclusive beers straight away. I love Beer 52. I've been using them for a while. I love the fact that you get different beers every month, and this month is an absolute cracker as they celebrate the greatest talents in the craft global beer movement. For example, craft beer giants Omnipolo's Outer Galactic, cracking beer. It's really smooth, really drinkable pale ale, really hoppy, and really nicely rounded to ensure you're coming back for more and more. You can drink this one quite a lot. It's very nice indeed. But if you don't like dark beer, not a problem. Simply choose the light case, and don't forget you get a couple of tasty snacks too. You can also learn about all the fantastic breweries featured in your case with the award-winning Ferment magazine as well. So you find sort of the provenance and find out more about the story of the brewer that you're drinking. And even after all that, if you're still not satisfied, you can simply pause or cancel any time. So that's beer52.com/West Ham to claim your free case. That's beer52.com/West Ham.